There's Dawn.
We're all being really quiet.
I'm here.
Okay.
You on that?
Yes, we're on.
All right, and it is 7 o'clock. So I'm Don Berube, Chair of the Bow Planning Board. It's 7 p.m. and we're meeting electronically as authorized by the Governor's emergency orders. Our virtual meeting is located in this Zoom meeting room, which was posted in the notice as required by law. We're making sure that there is public access to this meeting by phone as well as by video conferencing. During this meeting, if during this meeting anyone has problem with access, please call 603-223-3976. Unless you are a board member, town staff, or presenter, please remain muted during the meeting and turn off your video feed. After each presentation, I will open the public hearing. Please raise your hand by clicking participants and then clicking raise hand on the Zoom app, or dial *9 on your phone and state your name and address for the record. One last thing for board members, there will be a roll call for all votes. Please state your name and your vote. Let's get started with our agenda. So first up is public hearings. Number 1, application 401-20, Eversource Energy, Block 2, Lot 200B-2, located at 1439.
I have here a lot on my computer, right?
Wetlands Protection Conditional Use Permit for 3,380 square foot wetland impact to replace an existing utility pole for final approval, rescheduled from March 19th, 2020. So who do we got presenting?
So Sherry Jeffries here from VHB. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
All right. And then we also have Jenny Menendez here from Eversource. So getting started, as you said, we're requesting a conditional use permit for 1 pole replacement on the Q171 transmission line. It's a 115 kilovolt transmission line. It's an existing service accessible from New Hampshire Route 3A. The structure has been inspected and found to have a significant defect and needs to be replaced as soon as possible. So we have set out to get the appropriate permits in place. We had a statutory permit by notification for utility maintenance approved recently under the DES filed 2020-529 that approved to move forward. And the project requires temporary impact of 3,380 square feet for timber mat access in and around the structure 12, which is the only one that needs to be replaced in Bow. The existing access there is already an established access off of Route 3A, and that access road is in place. So very minimal, if any, upgrades are required to that access road to get access to the structure. We're going to be using timber matting around structure 12, both in the wetland and the upland area, as indicated on the map, between the yellow hashing of the work pad is overlapping with the wetland area, and then the purple or fuchsia color is the timber matting that would be located in the upland area. So really trying to minimize and avoid impacts in that area, and just for the replacement of that structure. It'll be a quick mob in and mob out when the work is authorized. It's just that one structure, as I said, so they'll be in and out of there pretty quickly. So able to lay the mats down and pick them up. At this point, since the original work missed the outage because of the approval timeframe, they're scheduling to do the work at the end of the summer. So that will be in a low flow condition there. The wetland itself was verified by certified wetland scientists and really consists of one large emergent wetland that is dominated by cattail and reed canary grass. It's an emergent wetland. Towards the edge of the wetland areas, more shrubs. It provides functions and values in terms of flood flow alteration and groundwater recharge due to its size and landscape position, and water quality functions, sediment toxicant retention, and nutrient removal because of its dense vegetation, and again, its land position. It's a fairly large system, so it has good wildlife habitat, and it had hits through the Natural Heritage Bureau database for Blanding's turtles and hognose snakes. And in our correspondence with New Hampshire Fish and Game, they recommended that we be on the lookout for turtles and sweep the area, as well as snakes in both hognose and northern black racer, and report any sightings to them as they may occur. And so those were their basic recommendations in terms of minimization and avoidance. On the plan, you can see that we'd be installing sediment erosion controls. That would be that black line just at the base of the wetland, kind of below where the Q171 line is indicated, and right adjacent to the existing access road. That's pretty much about it in terms of just the project description. Is there any questions at this point? It will be replaced. The wooden existing pole is a 3-pole structure. It's on an angle, so it will be replaced in its exact location with a steel 3-pole structure.
Does anybody have any questions?
I just got a quick one. I'm confused why the erosion control barrier is so far away from the work.
So that's just from the access road to make sure that as the vehicles are driving past that wetland area, that there is no sediment that's getting into that wetland area. With regard to no erosion controls up by the work pad itself, is that work pad is quite large, and the vehicles will be able to move around there without contributing to any sediment onto those mats that would get into the wetland area. When they do the drilling for those structures, they'll be using containers where they pick up the drill spoils and put them in containers to make sure that there isn't any discharge into that wetland area. And then we ask the contractors to sweep the mats every day to make sure, at the end of their workday, to make sure there's no sediment that would get into the wetland in case of a rain event.
So well, I guess what would just driving vehicles on that road might, I mean, how would sediment get from the road to the wetland just by driving on it, I guess?
Just loosening the materials that are there. I mean, it's just sort of standard practice when we're doing any type of construction operation adjacent to the wetland. We recommend that they install the erosion control just to make sure that nothing gets into the wetland, as it's downslope from where the access road is.
The only question that I have is, I know you say replacement. Do you, is that cutting the wood pole and then putting the steel pole right next to it? I know that's generally how you've done it in other places, or Eversource has done it.
Yeah, that's generally what's done is that they pull the pole and put it right adjacent to it. I don't know in this situation, Jenny, maybe you know where it's exactly on an angle, if that's any different, if they have to remove the pole butt. Usually they don't in wetlands, they leave the pole butt in the wetland because it's more of a minimal impact, but I don't know with it being exactly in the same location, whether they can leave the pole butt there or not. Jenny, do you know?
Yeah, so this one, like you said, Sherry, because it's on an angle, they're going to replace the pole in the same location that it's in right now. They won't be moving it at all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else have any questions? Hearing none, this is a public hearing, so I will open it up to the public. Not hearing anybody come from the public. We got anybody out there, Matt?
Hold on, Don, I'm checking here. This is the part that gets a little tricky.
Yep.
I don't see any hands raised or anything here.
Be able to raise your hand at the right time.
And we never saw such a normal draw a big crowd for
Okay.
a public response, so. You want me to know when we're good to close the public hearing?
I'm not seeing any comments on this one.
All right, then. I will close the public hearing. Is any other discussion we want to have on this?
I think I'm
You
good.
know, Oh,
Go on, Sandy.
oh, I was just going to offer a motion to approve the CUP.
I'll second that.
Or what is it, 41-20W?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll second that motion.
Second from Phyllis. So we need to do a roll call vote. I'm not sure really what the order is.
I guess
Guess we'll start with Sandy. This is the first one I got on my list here, so,
Yes. Yay.
okay. I think you're supposed to say Sandy too, but I probably got that.
Okay, Sandy Crystal, yay.
Willis?
Willis Sloat, yay. Yes.
Who else? Actually, did we even talk about who was voting? I think Garth is, right? You and him, Garth?
Well,
Is he
Tony-
just-
We have enough people, don't we? Or how many do we need? Because we got Tony here, we got Sandy, myself. I think most of us are here.
Bill?
Yep, Bill's there. Can you hear us, Bill?
I can hear you.
All right, what's your vote?
Bill Oldenburg, aye. Yes.
Tony?
Tony Reynolds, yes.
Adam?
Adam Sandall, yes.
Who have I missed?
Mike Wayne, aye.
There we go, thank you, Mike. Don Burby, aye. Anybody else?
I don't think my vote counts, so, does it? Kristen,
you're an alternate.
do I still get to say aye?
I would say the ayes have it. All right. So I guess that's all set, right?
Good with that one, Don.
One down. All right, moving on to public hearing number 2. Application 501-20, Jonathan and Judith Richardson and Ryan and Stephanie Richardson, Block 4, Lot 12, located at 502 Clinton Street, minor residential subdivision, creating 2 lots and associated wetland CUP application 402-20W for 1,393 square feet of impact to the wetland, plus wetland buffer impact for driveways construction for expedited review. Who do we have talking about this?
Jacques Belanger. Not Kim.
All right. Is that who's presenting? Is Jacques?
Yes. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry. All right.
We're all new at this thing, so.
Yeah. This is my second one. So.
Well,
Apologize.
the experienced guy here then.
All right. So what we're doing is we're applying for a, it's part of a wetlands application for a subdivision we're doing off of the Hooksett Turnpike Road. Is this for the whole subdivision or just for the CUP we're talking about right now?
I think it's both.
Yeah, it's gonna be both, so.
Okay, so just the whole story. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, what we're looking at is a piece of land at the corner of the intersection of Clinton Street and the Hooksett Turnpike, with 37.7 acres, pretty much on the Bow Town line. And what the owner's doing is breaking off a frontage lot off 13 Clinton Street, creating a lot that's 5.09 acres, and a second lot with frontage on the Hooksett Turnpike Road. And what it is a piece of upland off the Hooksett Turnpike Road we're accessing with a driveway through a wetlands. So we're impacting the wetlands and the wetlands buffer. There's a substantial amount of the land that is wet, and basically it's limiting us to these 2 locations for house sites. We'll need to get a driveway application, driveway approval from the state for the Clinton Street access that is into the state now for review. We don't anticipate, we don't have to get state subdivision approval. We're over 5 acres for both lots. And we do have the wetlands permit that we met with the Conservation Commission on, I believe it was Monday now. And I believe that they asked for an extension for another month to take a look at it. The application was a little late, and I don't think many members had the chance to take a look at it first. And there are a couple of questions about the the plans that we had submitted. So I think we have another month before the Conservation Commission. Other than that, it's fairly straightforward. The piece of land was bought maybe end of 2019, or I'm sorry, beginning of 2019, and was pretty heavily logged. It had a lot of mature pine on it. There is a snowmobile trail that passes through, I guess, on the northerly side, and the club, the Bow Club, has talked to us at the conservation meeting this past Monday about locating the trail, and I believe they've talked to the owners about it last year. They had done some substantial work on their trail through there. And I spoke with the owner, I believe it was Tuesday now, about locating the trail so it doesn't interfere with the proposed house site that's on the second larger lot that's about 32 acres. And I think that's about it for that. The details of it. We are partially in the Zone A floodplain. The building sites are out of that. Not sure what else we need to talk about the project. Oh, we are asking for a couple waivers. One of them was the preparation of a open space development plan. Because there is so much wetlands on the property, there really isn't a whole lot we can do differently than what we're doing with just the 2 building sites. And the second one is for monumentation for oval lines that are for lot lines that are longer than 500 feet. Because some of the bounds do fall into the wetlands, and we're proposing setting them in the uplands before it gets to the wetland to stay out of it.
All right, I'm sure we get some questions from the board. Anybody?
I got a couple questions, Don.
All right, Bill.
So the,
Where'd you go, Bill?
Bill is frozen.
Bill is
Get awfully still, Bill.
Can we see the map of the whole parcel rather than just the Clinton Street part?
Sure, let me.
Is that on me, Chris or Sandy?
Oh, well, I would, or if Albina or Matt can show it. I just,
Sure.
Yeah, there's match lines on this. I'm not sure if there's a sheet that shows the whole thing. Yeah, there isn't a sheet that shows the whole subdivision, Sandy. There's match lines on it.
okay.
So,
Okay.
and this shows the lot, the smaller lot that's subdivided. And then there is a match line that shows the bigger part, but it doesn't really mean much. I mean, it's,
Well, that's where the wetland crossing is, and it has Hooksett Turnpike on the right.
Yep. Is this where you want to look right there?
I just thought it'd be good for folks to be able to see both parts of it.
Yeah. So that's the,
Now this is where the previous snowmobile trail ran through the property. We've located it, and the Conservation Commission, I think, has a more current plan now that shows the trail as it loops around the northern side of the property against the wetland, and that goes across the brook off to the west side. And that's a trail I think they built last summer.
Yeah, that's on my drawing that I printed out today. I don't know if you probably can't quite get on there, but you have moved the trail. Basically is running right along the inside of the wetland buffer.
Correct. On the northerly side, yep.
Yeah.
And that's where it is today. We located that last Friday, I think it was. I didn't realize it actually moved. I know they'd done some work out there, and never really paid much attention to what had been done out there.
okay. What's going on here?
We're being Zoom bombed.
Oh, yes, we are being.
Oh, God. You heard about that stuff?
Yeah.
Well, it could have been worse, I guess.
Yes, I guess it could have been worse. I'm not sure how they did it, but, or who's doing it, but we'll stop sharing that.
Well, I think Bill had some questions he was going to ask.
Yeah. Bill back? Are you with us, Bill?
I've had that issue with before, is all of a sudden I lose connection, so. And I accidentally, in re-getting in, closed the PDF. So I didn't have a comment on the Clinton Street lot. My question was the Hooksett Turnpike lot, the sort of the island in the middle of the wetlands. The map that Matt had up shows the existing trail location. And then in the additional packet information, there was sort of a relocated trail, and they don't end in the same spot. So it just looked like, I just wanted to make sure that the proposed trail location or relocation was shown correctly, because it looked like they were several hundred feet apart in where they ended off the property. And my only other question was, I saw a comment through I think the Conservation Commission about the driveway design. And I thought when we passed the new zoning or regulations at town meeting that one of the requirements was a driveway design, especially through the wetlands like they are. So I'd be interested in seeing exactly how or or at least have a better understanding of what the driveway would look like. How many feet above the wetlands? Are there pipes or anything else to allow flow underneath the driveway? That type of thing.
Okay, if I can slide my easel over, I don't know if it works at all. We did locate no, I don't remember when it was. We did locate the snowmobile trail. I guess it must have been this week. I don't know when it was, recently. And this is the actual location of it now. It used to cut across somewhere in here and cut across the wetlands, but they've relocated it, sweeps around here, and they put a bridge across the main channel of the stream that's out here. And the owner does have concerns about the location. They gave permission to use it last year. I know the Snowmobile Club wants to continue using it, and they're willing to, I guess, relocate it again. Probably not, they'd like to probably use the same point here, but it's a main corridor for the trail system. So they've, I think, communicated Tuesday maybe about the a location. And for the driveway, we do have in the conservation, the wetlands application, and maybe the plan board didn't get that far with it, or didn't get to you. There's a crossing plan that is in there, and I've done a little bit of work on it since the meeting with the Conservation Commission. We put a profile in that wasn't included first, and a cross section of the pipe at the cross section at the culvert crossing. As proposed, a 15-inch CMP, 26 feet, laid pretty much at grade across the wetlands. It doesn't, there isn't a channel. It doesn't really flow here. It's more of an equalizing thing. Both left and right, or north and south, kind of connect back to that wetlands on the other side. It's just kind of wet everywhere out there in that swath. So cover over the pipe. It's a little bit about a foot, slightly over a foot, but it's a driveway crossing. It doesn't have a typical 3 feet might have for that. But the difference in location of the snowmobile trail where it used to be is because it does cross the brook in a different location than it used to.
Okay.
This wetlands area,
That's all the questions I had.
the water's always the same.
Who's trying to talk? I don't.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just asking if the wetlands in this area is a fixed sort of water height.
It's not really standing water. There's probably some puddled water out there now. It's more of an upland wetland, I guess you'd say. It's just meets the criteria for a wetland. It's not really ponded or anything else. Like I said, there are puddles out there. When we were out there, again, may have been last Friday, I don't remember. There was some standing water here and there, but nothing floating really. And like I said, it was logged fairly heavily. So there's brush and other treetops, that type of thing in the wetlands now.
This is Sandy. I have some questions. I was out there actually yesterday, late afternoon, on both properties, and most of the wetland flags are missing. There aren't really very many wetland flags out there. So it's really kind of hard to evaluate the line, and on the property on the Clinton Street side, actually, there was an issue with one area. The few flags that were there seemed to be kind of in the wetland and not at the wetland edge. And in fact, they seem to match up with the National Wetland Inventory boundary, which is really wetlands that are identified based upon aerial imagery. And really those are the bigger, wetter wetlands. And so some of the flags that I picked up seem to potentially be in those areas. So I had, like I said, the flags weren't there, so it was kind of hard to match it up with the plan, but I guess on the Hooksett Turnpike side, there weren't enough flags to even confirm what's there. And on the Clinton Street side, there was some question in one area. I also want to bring to everybody's attention that the impacts noted on the plan are incorrect. Jacques corrected it the Monday evening at the Conservation Commission meeting. The wetland impacts are actually 2,758 square feet, as I understand it, and the buffer impacts are 3,400 square feet for a total of 6,158. So unless you have other numbers, Jacques, I think those are the ones we talked about Monday evening. So I guess because the Conservation Commission was also going to individually take a look, as I understand in the comments that Wendy provided, she didn't locate the site. I'm not sure where she was. I had actually been to this site last summer because when the logging was being done, Nancy Reinhardt had contacted me that she was concerned that no logging extend over onto the adjacent town property, but the town property is actually wetter than this area, so there wasn't going to be any trees worthy of logging on the town land. But I guess there was some concern that the Conservation Commission was going to, as Jacques mentioned, take more time so that we could review it together. So I know this had been put in for expedited, but I think with the variety of concerns, I was kind of concerned about, I was not in favor of handling it as an expedited application.
All right, for the wetland flags, Sandy, what would you like us to do about that? I mean, they were put in, I'm thinking it was October, late summer, or early fall last year, so maybe they didn't winter as well as I thought they had. I mean, we can look for them and try to freshen them up. The areas that you're concerned in, would that help? We don't want to do the whole thing again.
Right. Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, I guess the front area, I have, I had sent Alvina, and I have a couple of maps I did with GPS points that show the limited wetland flags that I picked up. So there are some there. I guess that, I guess one of the other questions that I have, there's one of them. This is the Clinton Street property, and I picked up some flags, and it's the WF is wetland flag, and I picked up the number where there was a number, and it's a no number and stuff. So there were some flags around there. The green on the map is the National Wetland Inventory map, which is based upon aerial imagery. It's not a field-based delineation. And this area on the right was where it seemed to be, when I was there, it seemed to be wetter before you got to the flags. And also that cross-hatching, that's the flood hazard area, the Zone A, just for your information. So that it was that area on the right that I thought was a little bit wetter than the flags indicated. And then, and those were the only flags that I could find that were there.
All right, would you want us to, you're talking about down in this area, right down through here, I think.
Right. I guess one of the concerns I have is that also if the boundary is not determined and confirmed, we have a buffer, and then we have buffer markers, and we need to, particularly because this area was cleared, we need to make sure the buffer markers are put in the correct spot. So that's why having the delineation, it's not only for checking things now, but for putting up buffer markers ultimately.
All right, well, I mean, we've had a wetland scientist delineate the wetlands. These are his flags, not ours. So he's on the ground survey, I think is more accurate than maybe the other resources. How did you locate the flags you had, like GPS?
I have a GPS, Garmin GPS.
Okay. All right, so there's some flexibility with that, but I mean, we've on the ground located these where they were hung by a.
Right. But there were some on the right where it seemed to be that the flag, that it was kind of wet. I know it's early in the season, but the fact is it is wet now, and the water there means that the hydrology is there.
Okay, I can ask Josh to take a look at it.
Okay.
That work for you. And, I think more than likely, I'm thinking the flags probably are there. A lot of times after they've been there a while, we find the knots, where they're tied on or whatever. So we could take a look at that, and I can get back to you early next week at the Conservation Commission level anyway, and let you know what our findings are about the flags, existing flags.
Okay.
Up on Turnpike Road, I mean, if we were.
Yeah, I have a map for that too.
Okay.
Whoops. Are you able to put that up, Alvina? Or is it Matt? Let me see.
What do you want put up, Sandy?
The other map that I sent, it was kind of late. It was earlier this evening.
Okay, maybe Alvina, I think Alvina will put that up. She's not on speaker.
Okay, because I have another one that I did for the Hooksett Turnpike.
So as for the buffers, I mean, we'd end up having to lay those out, I think, with an instrument and set some type of post, because there aren't a lot of trees to put the plaques on.
Yeah, that's
If that's what you're getting at, yeah.
which is, I think, where the why some of the flags are also missing.
Yeah, some of them on brush, yeah.
Right. So this is the area, the white line is the GPS center line stakes that were put in, and I guess not all the flags. Well, those aren't all flags. I don't know why the labels didn't show up on all of them. But there aren't a whole lot of flags around there to figure out where things are. You can, like, I noted one was chewed, which I know is not uncommon. But I couldn't confirm any boundaries. And then I guess I also wanted to ask, there was an area that looked like it was a test pit, but when I compare it to the plan, it looks like it's, I thought it was closer to the front than I had figured, but maybe not. You see where the test pit?
Yeah, I do. Was it pink and white? I think we flagged them in pink and white, maybe.
It wasn't necessarily, no, it was actually a big square sandy spot.
Oh, I don't think that was a test pit. I think I saw what you're talking about. It was like a scuff or something, maybe one of the machinery made. One of some of the log equipment. I don't remember, but I think I saw the area you're talking about.
Okay.
The pink and blue is our control.
Right, right. I understand that, yeah. But it was difficult to really check the wetland boundaries around here. I guess the wetland is actually through, the crossing is actually here. But I couldn't see the flag. There were no flags.
The crossing for the driveway, crossing for the.
Right. The crossing for the driveway. I think.
Okay, we can look at that and freshen them and see if we can find them. I mean, worst case, we can turn them back out. Do something to mark them on the ground for you. Like I said, I don't want to do all of them, but the critical areas, the crossing areas, or where you feel they need to be, we could do something there.
Yeah, well, I guess it just, once again, the thing is that the boundaries are gonna have to be determined for the buffers so that when somebody moves into the property, they know where the buffer is that they're not supposed to disturb.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
You know, we anticipated hanging the buffer signs up. And like I said, they're gonna have to be on some type of post, fence post or something, because there's just not enough trees left, natural vegetation
Right.
to mount them to.
right. But the
And-
boundary would have to be.
They can do that without the flags though, can't they? They've got all the coordinates for the flags. Can't they just offset the wetland line to set where the buffer is?
That's how we typically do it. I mean, we've got, if we were in a wooded site, we'd probably physically come out and pull from the flag, you know, to a tree, the next tree over, whatever. But out here, there aren't enough trees really to do that. We're gonna have to physically put some type of guard post in, a post in of some type to hold the placards. I know we've done it in the past in some projects in Bow. We have to, if it's open like this, we gotta, you know, take the instrument, turn the angle, get the distance and lay them out, just like we're doing a lot corners or boundaries.
And you'd have to do it from a wetland line.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable for us to verify, if you've got concerns, to verify the location of the wetland boundary. Well, I'll ask Josh to swing out there and do that. And you know, I'll try to recover as many as we can on our own without putting a lot of effort into it. And if we need Josh, we'll bring him in. But that's what we developed the offset from, would be that location of the wetland flags.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So the big question is whether the flags on the ground represent the boundary.
And the flag, right, and right now they're
You
They're
don't,
missing some.
there's too many missing for you to feel that. Yeah,
Right,
okay, I
exactly,
understand that.
yeah.
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Anybody else got questions, comments?
Hey, Don, this is more for Matt. My agenda, I can't bring up my agenda because it kicks me out every time I try to go use the internet. Was this listed for expedited review?
Yes, it was listed for expedited. The board, you can decide tonight if you want to accept jurisdiction. You don't have to expedite the review, though. It doesn't sound like it sounds like the applicant's willing not to have it expedited.
So typically on something like this, we would typically do a field review. Under these conditions, I doubt we'll do a unified one, but you know, can we go and look at the site, or is that, you know, on our own?
Yeah, I would encourage folks to do that.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense for site walks right now, is that each board member can go out on their own.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure there was enough physical stuff in the ground that we could find the driveway entrance and you know, figure out what's on the ground.
The driveway off the Turnpike Road is laid out, 50-foot stations and labeled. I'm sorry, it's just labeled as driveway, not the station numbers. And if you're gonna go out there, we've got, if I could just ask, just let me get out there and check, see if we got the flags first, the wetlands flags, to make sure you're not wasting your time out there.
Okay.
And we do have up on the Turnpike Road on the northerly end, we've set it's labeled wrong. There's a rebar with cap there, and that line was fairly heavy flagged in orange. It's right where the existing trail crosses. And this is the larger of the lots, 32 acres, so you don't come into another lot line really till you, there's a concrete piece here, but until we wrap around back onto Clinton Street. And this was the log landing. It's pretty obvious where that is. And this line here is on the ground flagged. And there's a pipe here, then that's kind of all open. There's a pipe up in set there and a a pipe there. So it's, those orientation points are on the ground. It's, but I'd like to make sure that these wetland flags are recoverable, that you can see them.
How long do you think it'll take you to do that?
I'll get on it next week. I mean, towards the first of the week, and I can let Brian or email Brian, let them know it's happened, and let Sandy Crystal know too for Conservation Commission purposes.
Yeah, so yeah, if you can let Brian know this, so, you know, they can tell the board that it's
Yep.
ready to go out.
Yep.
All right. Does anybody else on the board have any questions, comments? I think it's time to hear from the public, which I'm guessing we're going to have some, so I'll open this hearing to the public. I don't have any gavel tonight, so. Is anybody chiming in, Matt?
I am looking and I think Alvina's going through and making sure everybody's unmuted that might want to chime in. So,
I see Dan Weed said he can't unmute himself.
all right. Yeah, let me find him.
So raise your hand. I did. Okay, dear.
Yeah, Mary Ann's got hand raised too.
Hi, guys. Good evening.
Hello, Dan.
Hi.
I guess, so this is Dan Weed from the Bow Pioneers. Our biggest concern regarding this, and first off, I got to thank the Richardsons for working with us as much as they did last year. And it was a huge help to us to get this trail relocated to where it was. So thank you very much, and it's greatly appreciated. Our big concern with this is a major corridor trail for us. It's our 373. And we were recently approved for a recreational trails program grant through the state to be able to fix the road bed through Farrington Corner Road by the gun club. Obviously, if there's a chance that we're going to lose this, then we can't in good conscience spend the almost $40,000 that the state has allotted for this project. So this is a pretty substantial concern for us. I certainly understand the hesitation to give either an easement or a right-of-way, not knowing the future landowner, but it also brings back memories of last year where we had agreements in place and everything, and then the future property owners were never told of the existence of the trail, and we essentially lost that trail. So this is our big concern, is, you know, the potential loss of this trail with little or no options for reroute at this point. And, you know, we'd be more than happy to work with a relocation, you know, even if we've got to come up the road where we come out and cross and move it up across a different location in the property. You know, certainly there's options, because where the current trail is now, it would lay literally right in the backyard of the house.
Is there an issue with trails going through the wetland? It's not, right? I mean, it's
No.
a snowmobile trail?
Yeah, it's a current snowmobile trail. Everything's in place, and it's, you know, unfortunately, Mother Nature has not played very well with us the last few years. So we didn't even get a chance to use the trail this year, or turn a key on the groomer for that matter. So I hope that's not going to be a continued pattern, but you know, and obviously with more and more people using the recreational trails, particularly given what's going on now, I see more people out and about on the trails than I ever have. So, but you know, the big picture for us is really, this is our corridor trail. It's a 373 that connects to Quarter 11 going out of town, and also gets us over to the Dunbarton side, to the trail system over there. So the loss of this in any way, shape, or form would be pretty devastating to our connector trail system. But, like I said, we're more than flexible to come up with alternative options, both with current and future landowners.
So if you had to like relocate the trail and run it down Hooksett Turnpike more towards the intersection with Clinton Street to get it further away from home, and go through the wetlands and back around to almost the other side of the dry area, sort of being as far away from the house as possible, that's actually feasible to do. But and would it be, if you relocated it down Hooksett Turnpike, would it be on in the town right of way, or would it be expected to be on the Richardson side of the line?
It would really depend on the lay of the land right there. If it was possible, then we would keep it off the town right of way. Obviously, we don't want to interfere with roadway operations or plowing or anything like that. If there's enough of a area along the side of the road where we could be on the edge of the property, that would be ideal, because we could just go down on the edge. Because I know there's a bit of a drop off from the road right there. There's a 2 or 3 foot drop. But I would envision that we would come up beyond where the driveway is, almost to the Sagamore Court, and then cut across that area. And there's really no flow in that area. It's just pretty soggy. But in the wintertime, it's all frozen up, so it worked pretty well for us.
You're talking about coming up through here. This is, it's a wetland, but it's not a sloppy wetland.
Right.
It's pretty firm and vegetated.
Yeah.
Formally vegetated. It would cut straight across.
Exactly. That's sort of what we had in mind. But
yeah, there is a residential driveway somewhere up in here.
Yeah.
It's not on this plan, not shown, but yeah.
So there's, like I said, there's plenty of options that we can work with. Again, I can't in good conscience go ahead with the state contract until I have this secured.
Which, makes sense to me. I don't want to tell a landowner that they have to. I mean, it should.
Right.
It's their land. And, I hope that everybody can play nice and this can work. And, but I don't see where we should be forcing it to.
No, I'm not asking for that. I'd much rather ask permission than.
Yep. I mean, it would seem reasonable that, at a minimum, to grant some easement across wetland that they can't use for anything else anyways, at a minimum would seem reasonable to me, but that's really, up to the landowner now,
right.
I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that really, I don't think that's something that's really in our jurisdiction anyway.
Right.
It's one of those things. I mean, you'd hope they do it. They'd hope they're willing to do it. The valuation is going to be the donated value of the easement if that's given. It's just one of those things that you got to work out. I wish I had a different answer for you guys, but I think you're kind of stuck in a legal situation here, which is really outside of in my view, of the planning board's. It's something that needs to be expressed, but it's not really anything we have, I think, any control over.
Oh, no, I'm certainly not asking anybody to do anything, but I just want to express our concerns.
Absolutely.
Well noted. So we have anybody else from the public that, I think Mary Ann has her hand raised?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm Mary Ann Gashnig. My husband, Rob Werner's with me. And we live at 82 Hooksett Turnpike in Concord, and we're actually abutters to this property. And thank you for the invitation to participate tonight. We did receive the certified letter in the mail about the hearing. And we just want to talk about really how much we care about this area. We've been walking and biking Hooksett Turnpike for over 20 years. And we know it as a really beautiful forested, as well as wetlands and wildlife rich area. So we really focus on the positive and all of the beauty around it. Some of the concerns we have for the plan have to do with the environmental impact of the wetlands disturbance and the buffer. And I would say, you know, a significant disruption to the ecosystem, the wildlife and the plant life in the area. We did review the plan that was sent to us. And again, I understand that the impact area now has really doubled than what was, you know, originally planned for, that, you know, we were informed of. So that's a major concern. Another point I just wanted to make is the concern about potential disruption of vernal pools. There are vernal pools all up and down Hooksett Turnpike. Again, we walk this area year round, and of course it's springtime. So there are many vernal pools out there right now. They're rich with aquatic life, such as the wood frog, salamanders, you know, all of the kinds of things that you would expect to see in a vernal pool. I didn't see the vernal pools marked on the plan at all. So to me, again, I hope that somebody is going out and, well, I am glad to hear that people are going out and walking it now to identify them so that they will not be destroyed, and that, you know, appropriately posted. The other thing we just wanted to mention is about the interior recreation trail. And what a wonderful resource that is. It's also used for walking and biking and birding. And so we've been on this trail. And again, the original plan indicated the driveway actually intersecting the trail, and thought that was just incredibly dangerous for all parties involved. And so, you know, I understand that that has been relocated in the plans, maybe the revised plans, but in the original plan, it did show these two, the driveway and the interior recreational trail intersecting. So extremely dangerous. Just in terms of, so yeah, just a point about the snowmobile trail. It is getting utilized even in this past season without, you know, very much snow. People still do go out and walk it and utilize it. And just finally, you know, recommendations, thinking about the impact again, since this is such a large parcel of land, looking at the two lots, we wonder about trying to locate the driveways so that it doesn't impact the wetlands. And there is actually a proposed driveway off of Clinton Street already in the plan. So if there's a way to look at that, to extend that, or to maybe find another way that a driveway could be placed so that it doesn't have such an impact, would be helpful. If wetlands are going to be impacted, then it would be really important, I think, for the area to have the area mitigated, and, you know, that the native plantings could be done so that whatever is disturbed could be, you know, there'd be something that would be taking its place, and we could try to build up the area to its original beauty. And then again, just really to try to not destroy the vernal pools. And then finally, with the substantial timber harvest that was already mentioned, there is a lot of residual wood there. It has been a significant eyesore, quite frankly, but also a disruption to the wildlife community, as you would imagine. There was a deer that was just killed recently, about a week or two ago, right on the corner of Hooksett Turnpike and Clinton Street. So that would be a really much needed improvement. And I'm sure that'll happen with time, but I just wanted to share our thoughts and concerns, and thank you so much for listening. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Do we have anybody else out there that had some comments? Do you see anybody, Matt?
I'm not seeing anyone, Dawn. Just a second. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any more public comment, Don.
All right, well, we'll bring it back to the board and I'll close the public hearing. Any more discussion on the board here that we,
Are there vernal pools out there?
this,
I guess that's a question for Jacques.
For me, if they are, they're in the wetland mapped areas. I'm not a vernal pool expert. I'm sure there are pockets of like ponded areas that things are nesting in already, but they're in the in the delineated wetlands. Yeah, the vernal pools I've seen before are kind of a standalone thing that are kind of isolated. From what I've been through this property, I haven't noticed any, and the wetlands were mapped by a professional there. So, not sure what to say about that. I mean, I'm sure there are puddles and what, little ponded areas in the wetlands that are, again, habitat for fry or whatever.
Sandy, do you see any vernal pools out there?
I didn't have a whole lot of time other than the lot areas. I would say in the areas that are planned for the residential lots, I didn't notice any vernal pools. I think now a lot of the wood frogs have kind of gone back to the woods so that you're not hearing them so much anymore. But I did not see any in the immediate area. I did not walk in other areas. So there could be some elsewhere in the property, but it doesn't appear to be in the areas that were targeted for the residential lot.
And I was confused about a couple of other things. I'm looking at the plan with all the colors on it that shows the relocated trail. And it looks, I was confused by the last person that was talking. To me, it looks like the trail doesn't cross the driveway.
The old plan did. The first plan showed it.
All right, I got you. So the trail's been relocated, so they're not crossing.
Right.
Okay.
That was the location that was on the ground when we did our original work out there.
Yeah.
I knew that the club had done some work out there last summer. I didn't realize, or whenever last summer, last fall, I didn't realize they'd moved the trail. They did quite a bit of effort to, like I said, put a bridge and a crossover this way. There wasn't a lot of clearing necessary, but they did cut the stumps off and worked it and moved it over. And when we located it, again, I apologize, maybe last week or maybe this week, I don't remember. They had delineated posts up, so it's obvious where it is. And now he has, Dan has talked to the Richardsons, Ryan, about relocating the trail again, potentially keep out of the house site, home site.
And then the last one,
I'm sorry.
This is gonna say the last one that I had was on the location of the crossing, the last person. To me, it looks, I guess I'm not clear where the alternate spot would be. I mean, to me, it looks like the spot that you picked is the narrowest, where the least amount of wetland impacts, just from what I can see on the plans here. Is there an alternate location where that driveway could come in with less impacts?
Not to that site. We've got this piece of upland here. I submitted the colored plan earlier this week because it's a little easier to see the lines. It's a little bland otherwise. But we have this piece of upland here, and this is the narrowest throat to come through.
Right.
Over off the Clinton Street side, we don't, there's no way to get from here to back here. We've got this is the wetland boundary here, and it's all cut off. So to get from here to there is just not possible. If they were connected, we'd be probably subdividing two lots off of Clinton Street. We would have been able to get our buildable area, but the buffer keeps us from doing that, the new buffer restriction.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, I was going to ask the exact same question because I was like trying to figure out how you come off from a different direction. I just can't see any access like they're saying.
No, well, there is, and maybe it wasn't clear enough on the picture that she was looking at. I think they have the reduced copy, so it might be a little hard to read. But no, there's this piece of upland here, a little piece of strip here in Concord, and then the big pocket up here again, whatever it is, 5 acres, 5 or 6 acres that we're crossing at the narrowest throat of the wetlands. And again, it's not a channelized wetland, it's just land that's wet. So.
Okay. Has anybody else got anything we want to add to this before we move on a little bit? I know we still need to accept this for jurisdiction. I don't think that, we can't do this expedited review. We want to get out and look at it some, which they're going to finish marking off or fixing the markers so we can see what's going on out there. So what do we need to accept this jurisdiction on this? So
I make a motion to accept jurisdiction.
I'll second. Sandy seconds.
All right. And Sandy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Willis?
Willis is a yes.
Tony?
Tony is a yes.
Trying to go down my list here. And it's not in there. Bill? Yep. Bill, is he still with us?
Yep, I say aye.
All right, Adam?
Adam is a yes.
And myself, Donald Berube, is a yes. So the ayes have it.
Mike Wayne, aye.
Mike Wayne. Thank you, Mike. Sorry, I forgot about you. So I think we definitely need to bring this back again to our next meeting. Besides getting the markers back up, is there, anything else for the applicant that we can advise him on with this, or issues, or anyone?
I was going to have Josh also look at this corner over here with Sandra was concerned with.
Okay.
Just to review those flags again.
I think the big thing is getting the flags out there for the where the crossing is in that general area. So if we want to go out there and review it, to have him let Matt or someone at the town know when those are there so they can advise us. And then we can try to get out there to do a walk at some point over the next 3 or 4 weeks before the our next meeting.
Do they need to confirm the vernal pools, all the wetland guys out there? Is that a big deal to just have them walk around and check? I'm pretty confident that there aren't any.
Especially in the crossing area, right? That's the,
Right. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, we do have this piece of upland here. I think it's fairly well defined, but we can have them kind of give that a quick walk over it. And again, this is only 2.6 acres of upland outside the buffer, so it doesn't take a long time to walk around that. So I can ask him to do that.
And the driveway crossing, I know we had some comment about, the plan on how that's going to be. And I think we changed some of our rules with that and what we want to see. I think Bill had mentioned that. You want to chime in on that, Bill?
No, I think Jacques answered that. He had a plan. I didn't.
Yeah.
It was incorporated with the wetlands crossing, so it may not have gotten into the original. It didn't get into the original package. So.
Okay. But you got a good plan for that.
I think so, for driveway.
Okay. And when is our next meeting that we can hopefully finish this?
May 21st.
May 21st.
Or is it, wait, did I get that wrong? No, it's May 21st.
The third Thursday.
Well, I would entertain a motion to,
Motion to continue?
yes,
A motion to continue this hearing until the May 21st meeting.
Sandy seconds.
all right. And so all those in favor? Will,
Sandy, I.
Willis, aye.
Adam,
Tony, aye.
Tony, we got an Adam?
Hello, aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Did I miss anybody? Myself, aye.
All right, well, thank you, and we'll be in touch with the Planning Department and Conservation Commission next week.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So Sandy, I love your background there. That's
Oh, it's comes with Zoom.
okay.
It's a Zoom
I
back.
haven't found that yet, but you kind of blend into it once in a while. It's a little weird. But.
You turn your head and part of your head like disappears and then reappears.
My hair has that wave like the Aurora Borealis.
All right. So I see no old business on the agenda. And then for other business, we have an extension for site plan 207-19, 164C Dunkley Road, 164C Dunkley LLC, Grapponi Companies, Block 2, Lot 64C in 59F8, located at 29 Dunkley Road and 60 Ryan Road, request for continuation of approval extension for 60 days. Does anybody got anything they're going to say about that? Nobody's here. I mean,
The extension.
they need an extension. I can't imagine why.
I'll make a motion to approve the extension of 60 days.
I'll second. Sandy seconds.
All right, and all those in favor?
Willis, aye.
Oh, Sandy, I.
Tony, aye.
Tony?
Aye, yes.
Adam?
aye.
Mike?
Aye.
You missed Bill.
Aye for myself.
You missed Bill.
So I missed Bill?
And
Bill. All right. So they got their extension. Do we want to do minutes through Zoom or do we want to this?
Man, I have no edits to the minutes. I reviewed them, no problem.
They're short. Let's get them out of the way.
They're short, yes.
All right. Oh, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes of February 3rd.
And do I get-
I'll second it.
Mike,
All right, and all those in favor?
Sandy, I.
Willis, aye.
Bill?
Tony, aye.
Bill, aye.
Adam, aye.
We get
Mike,
Mike?
aye. Aye.
And Dawn, aye. So the minutes have been approved. And I think that's going to conclude our,
Motion to adjourn.
No candy jar. What happened?
You can have your own candy jar this time.
You're allowed whiskey at home.
That's right.
Well, the whiskey's fine as long as you shut the video off.
All right. So I'll second the adjourning.
all right. Do we really need a roll call vote on that? Or we
I
just
don't think you do. I don't think you do, Dawn.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm glad we were able to get a successful meeting in here.
Yes.
Yep. Dawn, the background is under Zoom. You do preferences, and then farther down on the left, there's a place where you can pick a background.
Cool. I just might look at that. All right. Well, everybody stay healthy and safe, and we'll do this again in a month.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds
Take
good.
care.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Yeah.